So, they change to a paleo diet or a Weston A. Price primal type of diet, and they get their cholesterol checked, and their total cholesterol or LDL cholesterol are out of range, out of the lab range, and maybe up towards that 240 or 250 mark that you just mentioned. So, what could be going on here in these cases? This is what we're going to talk about today. And what kind of steps can people take to investigate a little further to determine whether that total, slightly elevated total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol is a problem, or whether it's just part of a natural physiological process?
Absolutely. So the first thing that we need to understand is that there are good reasons and bad reasons for increases in cholesterol in the blood. So one of the reasons that cholesterol can increase is if we're clearing lipids from the liver. Let's say, for example, that a person has non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and they start resolving it. Well, one of the key problems with fatty liver disease is that the lipids get stuck in the liver and they're not being released into the bloodstream. So once you start clearing that, part of what may happen is you may get an increase in triglycerides, and you may get an increase in cholesterol in the blood. And that is a good thing because non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is not only very dangerous for the liver, but it's actually a much stronger predictor of cardiovascular disease risk. And this is a currently emerging field, but there is one study that was done in Japanese people, and they just looked at a number of Japanese population that was apparently healthy, and they looked to see if they had fatty liver or not, and then they followed them over a number of years, and they found that fatty liver disease increased the risk of cardiovascular disease by over 5-fold, whereas LDL cholesterol predicted it somewhat, but the study wasn't even statistically powerful enough to make that connection to LDL cholesterol statistically significant. And then when they incorporated LDL cholesterol and metabolic syndrome in a statistical analysis, they found that LDL cholesterol and metabolic syndrome, neither of those were even significant, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease raised the risk of cardiovascular disease by about 3-fold or 4-fold for men and about 14-fold for women. So if we're clearing lipids from the liver, then this is a good thing.
Yeah, that's a pretty phenomenal statistic there, especially in light of some of the estimates that I've seen that up to 1 in 3 Americans have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which would really go a ways to explaining the cardiovascular disease epidemic.